Attack!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Smack Attack. We are live on Hamin Media Group's YouTube channel, and I am your host, Jimmy T. And my co-host is R to the B to the V, Rick. After watching a SmackDown live from London, it was pretty raucous, man. I'm not going to lie. It seemed like it was pretty good. And we are on a special Fun Friday time, by the way. So I don't know if anyone or everyone has checked out SmackDown. If you haven't, well, maybe you should block your ears because we're going to give out spoilers for the US audience anyway, right?
Well, we'll say domestic of you chilling with me here in the continental, I guess just the 50 great states of the USA, catching SmackDown later on the USA Network. Hey, you might catch us later on tonight. Let you know, programming, schedule alert here. Let's go. Brandon is going to be in the regular slot for your watch along to give his expert insight and just hang out, have a good time there right here on the platform with Let's Go Brandon for the SmackDown watch along. But yeah, Jimmy T, as you said, they're over in jolly old London today. So the show has just wrapped up. Hey, I love this, man. A Friday evening to sit down with you, brother, to talk about the blue brand. But, you know, they might be asking, why? Why not wait? Well, as you can see, we're representing over here. We big Pippin today in our Bulls jerseys. Tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening, I'm going to be or into the morning, I'm going to be occupied. It is my nephew Noah, not Joakim Noah, the new Noah on the block for the Butler Bulls. They're taking on the Franklin Thunder, 8-year-old boys basketball. It's his first hoops game. Uncle Ricky's got to be like, I got to do the duties there.
That's awesome, man. Shout out to your nephew, little Noah. I hope he kicks butt, dude.
Yeah, dude. You know what, though? He had to get glasses last year, so he's going to be one of those basketball dudes with the goggles on, too, man. So
Horace Grant back in the day.
Yeah, dude. He was like wanting to do like the slick glasses, you know, like the Hardens in them wear. I was like, no, bro, you got to go 80s, 90s goggles. I wasn't gonna go as like hardcore on him and make him do Kurt Rambis. Like, at least we'll do the Horace Grant cool ass goggles, man. You know,
that's awesome. No, that's cool, man. I would have want, man, if you get any video footage, man, you got to show us how he did. What position does he play, by the way?
Well, it's kind of instructional. He's just getting into it, so they're gonna let him all kind of feel it out here, man. Yeah, they're learning the fundamentals. But I already got it queued up. Absolutely, Uncle Ricky gonna be there with the camcorder rolling, little voiceover. I already got the NBA on NBC music dubbed ready to go for my editing stuff there. But yeah, Jimmy has said, hey, we always get the lively ruckus crowds when they're over across the drink from your old school where your family came from in that area there, right?
Well, Europe, yeah, but not the UK.
Oh, say fuck. You know, I guess most of us here in America came from that. Those of us with similar skin tones to mine or yours came from Europe as well.
We're Europeans, really deep down. I mean, that's what it comes down to. So,
absolutely, man. So yeah, we're gonna jump into all of that tonight's big show from London. They're at the Wembley Arena. Where they have a lot of the swimming and all that. They mentioned on the show that they were right on top of that Olympic-sized swimming pool and those floors open there. But the big selling points from tonight's show, we had the 4 qualifiers to determine a new number 1 contender to the WWE Undisputed Championship. We're going to jump into those qualifiers. We know who advanced to the Fatal 4-Way for Saturday night's main event. We're going to talk a little bit about what makes sense going forward for each of the roles for those participants. We also had some women's stuff in the women's division unfold, and we also had a lot of the big fallout from the Drew champion. Drew McIntyre had his celebration, but Cody had a lot to say, and of course, you got the wild card, the werewolf Jacob Fatu making a lot of noise, a lot of barking and big bites in this episode of SmackDown. We're gonna, hey Jimmy, we do like to ease into the pool a little bit here, and if you've noticed it too, I've been kind of look for just news and things that are kind of particular, specific to the SmackDown brand. But this one here, really, WWE in general, but they've been holding some tryout camps here recently, and I see the internet abuzz with this, and it seems that they are focusing at these camps here on finding African American or Black talent, if you will. Now, you know this, right? The IWC jumping all over this thing with, Triple H and his racism and all this. So is our resident racist here on the HMG, brother? How do you feel about it? Is this warranted towards Triple H, or are they just kind of nitpicking here? Of course, this report comes to us from one Dave Meltzer, who's shooting from the other side of the trenches.
Well, you know what? It's a good question, Rick, because part of me feels like maybe he is doing that just to get a bit of, babyface heat back on himself, if you want to call it that. But you know what, man? I think it's a little bit of a stretch, man. I don't think he's racist, and he's not like, not purposely looking out for Black talent. Let's be real now. If they're money, they're money. I know people can point out
that is a fair point there that you make, and I know we're walking that fine line through white guys here talking about the race, and I'm not going to pretend to know how deep things cut and all that. But in professional wrestling, it really comes down to well, there is ego, there is a lot of that politics, but if you're going to make that money, and you and I, they probably have missed on some surefire Black main event headliners draws in the past.
And I was going to bring that up. I was going to say Lashley's a good example.
Lashley, absolutely right there. But one of the things that we learned with Lashley, was you got to entail everything that's there. Like, it seems to me Lashley just didn't know how to politic it. And we're knowing now with MVP handling his business in TNA, because Lashley would go out there and he would do 50-50 with a speedballer and the Jet dude, which is laughable. But it wasn't for MVP sticking up and, drawing that fine line and saying, we're not doing that here. You can look at maybe like a Shelton Benjamin, his partner here. But again, did Shelton Benjamin have the charisma, the it factor, the character to rise?
He really doesn't.
To those levels. I think, really it stems with Triple H is if he just would have done one thing different in a career and put over Booker T for that championship at WrestleMania.
I'm not going to lie. That was pretty bad, especially the build up to that match and the way that all went down. That looked a little suspect to me, I must say. But
is that race driven? Well, Booker T knows how to play the game itself, Look, is that race driven, or was that politically driven? I got to protect my spot here.
I think it's a bit of both, to be fair. Like the professor says, shout out to the professor. Because I think when I say race, the storyline did play up on the race part. I'm not saying that's what it really was, because at the end of the day, he was in a main event spot at WrestleMania, not the main event, but a main event spot. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it was really a racial thing. I think they both knew what was going to go down and the way it was going to go down. Book didn't seem to have a problem with it at the time. So if Book didn't have a problem with it, then why should we?
Well, we don't really know how much, and Booker T has been loyal to the company through and through over the years. They do take a lot of flack for maybe some of the racial issues, things like that, just all these years later when they finally give the nod to Kofi. But the company would always kind of go back to, we had Rock, which it brings up another debate. Is it because we think, but they sold Rock more as the Samoan side of him.
That he identifies way more as Samoan.
Okay, but that's a richer history than than what Rocky Johnson. And
but if you look at him though, he looks Samoan. Like, let's be honest.
I don't know. If I had to guess, if I had no idea, I guess I don't think I would say Andre. I would guess The Rock is Black. If I was just randomly looking at somebody.
Do you associate Samoans as Black in a sense?
No, but they all think they are now.
I know that's true.
They all think they are. But you did.
I know some Samoans that are pretty dark, though. I will say that.
Well, you brought up a good point as well, too. It is about the audience as well. And you play towards you're going to sell products that are enticing to that audience. And it's a hard pill to swallow here, maybe a little bit. But yes, the vast majority of wrestling fans still are Caucasian white.
Well, yeah, it's true. Unfortunately,
so that is relatable to your audience.
Right.
But right now, we're talking here, they're kind of cracking on Triple H about, during this recruiting camp that they're focusing on African Americans, blacks, bringing them in here. But right now, let's look at some of the hottest names that we see on the rise. On this show, we're going to jump into a lot with Rick Williams that we're going to talk about and how he is being presented and where his positioning is here. Javon Evans from NXT. So many people high on him. We saw Leon Slater, his London equivalent, on this show. You've got those three are really a trifecta that we're looking for, that next wave of superstars that are going to step up to be those main eventers. They're leading the way.
Absolutely.
Where on the other side? Where's Bianca at? I mean, she's got to be right. Are we saving her for Rumble?
Well, you might as well at this point, but you know what? Because it's in Saudi Arabia, why even bother saving him for the Rumble? Because it won't have the same.
You still hope for those pops. I don't, and add it, for the international stuff, and you want to have a bunch of those moments to look like Rehad is bigger. I did see a report here that, man, you realize it's been since October that the Street Profits have been on television, and that was on a main event taping. Yeah.
No shit. Since October?
Like late October. I think I saw like October 24th. And the reason behind that, like, they're not even on this tour. They're not overseas. And this is just, I don't care what your color, your creed, your whatever your make is. This falls on just terrible WWE creative again. And we see this time and time again. They think a way to freshen you up, to get you ready to come back, is to just let you cool off and forget.
Right, exactly.
So that you can forget about how bad the booking is, because you're just happy to see that they're getting an opportunity. Instead of doing something worthwhile with them, getting them into a program, figuring out a character, a gimmick that's going to connect. Again, we saw it with the Street Profits almost a year ago, when we were both excited that they were going to potentially save the SmackDown tag division. When they weren't just want the smoke, they were bringing the fire. They were ready to kick ass, and then they put the belts on them, and it's back to solo cups, one-handed gloves, and dancing around like fools.
It's true what you're saying, unfortunately. And you know what? What do you think is the reason why they're in this position that they're in? Is it because the tag team division just sucks so bad that there's nowhere to really put them against anybody right now? Or
there isn't. There is nowhere to go in that tag division.
Right.
It has been.
What do you do then?
It is the worst tag division. Man, it's neck and neck with Raw. I mean, men's tag team wrestling inside WWE right now is probably at an all-time low, and that says something, because we've seen some hideous lows inside of tag team wrestling.
Is a good example for tag team division, and even then, that tag team division absolutely would destroy today's one.
But tag team wrestling pretty much totally died with the Attitude Era.
Absolutely. Even, I dare say, the late 80s in some ways, dude.
Well, you had that golden era there inside the late 80s, early 90s, both with NWA, WCW, and WWF at the time.
Right.
But you still had, and then WWF goes through a lull completely across the board when they are revamping with the next generation. Tag teams, they still try to push a little bit. But even in the Attitude Era, you saw more putting two single stars together, but you still had a few teams that hung on to that.
Yeah, but it was the same kind of teams, if you know what I mean, which is not a bad thing, actually. But still, it was mainly the same teams going around, but it just didn't seem as boring. But even when you compare those 90s tag teams, were they anything to touch compared to the 80s? The 80s was truly the last time that we had main event tag teams. I'm talking about truly main event caliber tag teams.
And I know we had, the likes of, they started coming into prominence the late 90s into the early knots there. You still had Edge and Christian. You had the Hardys. You had the Dudleys that were doing
absolutely
things. But those were the only three.
They carried that division, literally.
I know. They carried a division of tag team wrestling. But in the 80s, tag team wrestling could carry events. Like they could main event, like sell out on the B and C show tours.
No
I mean,
doubt.
the Road Warriors in the 80s were a phenom all to themselves. You know,
Dude,
they were
killers.
major draws. And it's why we have the Road Warrior pop back then.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. I mean, that was literally a main event. You could put either one of those guys, and they did main event a few shows back in those days.
What's very frustrating, though, you had New Day with their great run Usos with that, but come on, I mean, nobody was looking towards the tag division as a must-see. It wasn't a selling point. It wasn't a draw. But back to our point here with the, to the African Americans here, as they grow that fan base, as we see more Black fans, you're going to see more, top names because they are relatable in those positions. And I think when we look at the top names going forward right now, I feel very comfortable. There's all, as long as Creative doesn't fumble that, man, with Evans, with Trick, who looked great here again tonight, and Overfed.
Dude. Trick is absolutely a star. And if they fumble Trick particularly, I could see him fumbling with Javon Evans for some weird reason. But Trick, if they absolutely fumble with Trick, then I'll start calling out Triple H legitly and be like, all right, dude.
It's all about where and how. I mean, if they try to push him here, it's not completely. I mean, well, it could come down to I think, okay, so we don't trust Triple H as an old school, carny, white dude to get the connect. And I would even say this, like I would have trouble booking. I actually have an example of this when I was with the Professional Wrestling Alliance, handling our book, doing our promotion and all that. These guys rose up as our top faction. And it was a group of African Americans, a group of Black guys.
Right.
Russell Bland, Actor 4, the ultimate wingman, great friend of mine, man. Freaking love him. And he came to me. He's got, Rick, he's got one of them deep, soft day voices, man. That sexual child. It's, Rick, I got this idea. We'll get my brothers together. I'm gonna call it my brother's keeper. And he's pitching it to me. He's pitching it to me, man. And it's not about a militia movement or anything like that. It's about bringing a community together to make sure they have each other's back. And they do it in a positive, uplifting manner. And I'm loving it. And I tell him, I was like, wingman, Russ, I said, I'm all in on this, but I'm going to need you to run wild with it because I'm a middle-aged white guy. I don't know how to book that.
You can't.
I don't know how to represent your community. I don't know how you're going to touch the fan base. But you immediately, so when I take this to the money guys, I take this to the money marks and I'm laying it out. Here's what we're going to do. Here's the steps. Here's where we want to go with them. Get the belts, start using them for PR. What do you think the first things out of their mouth was when I present a group of Black guys that want to band together?
Well, I've got a couple of things in my mind.
Comparison? What's the immediate comparison?
Well, the Nation of Domination, for example.
Oh, you're doing another Nation of Domination? No, did you listen to anything that I said or Russ said? This is nothing like that. But they just see a group of Black guys has to be the Nation of Domination. So with this, man, they did start out as kind of heels because people didn't know how to react to it. They thought it was going to be a nation kind of thing.
See, that's so dumb too because it's a bunch of Black dudes, so you're going to automatically see what I mean?
We had Russ as the manager, Russell Bland, great manager, great talker, so enthusiastic, just a great leader inside, Black community, wants to raise them up. We had big old Bomani, I think Bomani's like 6'7", big old man with a young green kid Juice. We had a big muscle man Jax. And then we had Savion, who was like one of the best stars in the area. So he was our media draw for them. Those guys would go out and do PR. Fans loved them because they got a connection. I remember we brought them out to Harrison, Ohio, where I'm from, and it's hillbilly country. Like growing up out here, we had one Black kid the whole time I was in school. So I mean, it's Trump country, it's good old boys, it's farmland and all that.
No shit.
Well, we start going to where we were holding this thing at a VFW, and these guys were there with me. Probably leading up to the show 3 or 4 times for big events, doing pictures, meeting people. These guys became the most overact in our promotion and in areas that you would not expect us to be.
See, that's cool, man.
Because of the connection. Because I let Russ, who understands that, book that and had faith in it. So in the WWE, Triple H is going to get all the flack because he's the face. He's the guy. He's the content officer. Top guy's going to get that. Head coach is going to get that. Do we have people in place on their creative team that know how to book for that community? I would say just like we don't We don't know how to book for blacks here. They don't know how to write those stories and get those connections, create those characters. They don't know how to do that for Hispanics, Latinos. They don't know how to do that for women. We've seen over and over how many times they've missed it with the Asian, people coming over from New Japan or,
right.
They just don't know how to do it. And when we look at the names we associate with WWE, who do we have here? I got this list from last week or 2 weeks ago when we were talking about
white dudes, dude. Literally.
White old dudes. Triple H, HBK, Michelle McCool's husband, Road Dogg, Michael Hayes, and Bruce Pritchard.
You couldn't get any more vanilla white than that, bro.
So next Tuesday, when we tune into the new season of Unreal,
oh boy,
how many people of color or minority are we going to see in those creative positions?
I don't think they've got not one, dude.
Well, I'm thinking like an agent. What, maybe Jason Jordan?
Oh, okay, right. But he's an agent. It's not exactly the same thing, but still,
I know. I'm just trying to think, and I don't know everybody across the board who's on that creative team, but I don't think that we have that kind of reach. That's why we don't know how to write and create characters that connect with everyone across that board.
Right. They just do the same old stereotypical bullshit, especially when it comes to minorities. It's always the stereotypical crap. You know what I mean? And it's typical, white guy, storytelling, basically, just by the assumption of what they think is the culture. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they got to change that. And you think WWE would be in tune with that and at least bring in people, of minorities?
Well, I think it goes back. They put a lot of lipstick on that pig. But that's still a pig, and it's still major carny business.
Zane says Michael Hayes, Road Dogg, Bruce Pritchard, ignorant enough to be black.
Hey, right now, I'm not trusting any of those three to book anything. What we've seen from them, I mean, we got Hayes, Pritchard are so out of touch. They're still the Vince McMahon regime. Well, what we were talking about just a moment ago with the tag teams here on SmackDown, Road Dogg's in charge of that. How the hell is he not understanding tag team wrestling? He's a career tag team wrestler.
You tell me, dude. You know what I mean? Like, what's? I don't get it either. Like, okay, look, but when you break down the roster and you look at these tag teams, let's be honest. Other than the Street Profits,
a lot of talent, a lot of possibility there if you position these guys right.
All right, look, I would say the hack department. This goes into my little hack box. All the whites to me, hack box, right? They're just hacks, dude. Like for me. You've got the Pretty Deadly. I'm sorry for anyone that's a freaking fan. I guess that's never going to be a tag team ever again because
Elton Prince just had successful surgery, head fusion there. Good for him there. We got the kitty cat.
And he's not, he doesn't even know if he's coming back. He said he wants to concentrate on his family and his kid as his first priority, man, instead of coming back to the ring.
Had a great conversation about that story. You catch that replay, Turnbuckle Studios on YouTube there. Our friends over there at Turnbuckle Talk, Carl Karofeld and his crew. We had a great conversation about that there. But yeah, so we don't know where he's at. Neck fusion there. And, he said, he is, maybe I would like to, but, as I said there, hopefully he talks to a lot of people that have been there. But hey, he's just got a young family. Worry about that first.
Absolutely.
So you had Pretty Deadly. You got DIY. You've got Traxium. You've got the Prophets. You got My Family Tree. You got the White Six. I mean, there is talent there. And there's talent in this company to put teams together.
I agree. There's at least 3 top teams that you could literally position at like a top level. But there's a few that they're just too vanilla, dude.
And then why? Then condense the division. Like the women's tag team.
We don't need 10 tag teams, right?
We don't need 2 tag divisions, especially with how they're utilizing the talent pool and what they know to do with it. So condense.
You know what, Rick, would you blend both tag teams together but have them, floating champions? Where was the champions goes on both shows?
Yeah, I would do the exact same thing you do with the women.
Right. Yeah, I would too. That's a good point. Yeah, DIY is done because of
maybe they wouldn't be done if you didn't suck creatively and Ciampa just saying, no, I'm gonna just chill for a little bit. I think he will be back with the company, just going to chill for a little bit.
He's thinking that he wants to play free agency, dude.
What does free agency mean? Ciampa is one of Triple H's boys. He's going to go float around for a little bit and come back and get an agent or a trainer job.
You don't? Oh, yeah, I can see that. I mean, he's in his 40s at this point, right? I'm pretty sure he is. At least close to it.
Where else? He wants some freedom to go do what he wants to do, have some freedom creatively, go out and wrestle some of the matches he wants to before he's too old, and he'll be back with this company within 3 years.
Interesting. Yeah, I can see that. Definitely, I can see him as an agent, 100%.
But at this point, is no game changer for any other company. So he'll be back here. He is one of Triple H's boys.
But look at TK, for example, after like signing the Rascals. Don't get me wrong, they're cool. But do you really think they're going to be a needle mover? I highly doubt it.
No.
Right.
Oh, there's another. Hey, all right. So Tony Khan's using that money that he could have used for Powerhouse Hobbs, who looks like he's going to be on his way to WWE.
I'm glad you brought that up, Rick. I hope he actually does go to WWE because the sickos are having an absolute horror session right now about it. They're absolutely giving him shit and blah, blah, blah. You know what?
Why?
Screw them. I don't understand it either. They should be happy.
Powerhouse Hobbs should be a prominent main eventer, top guy in AEW, All Elite Wrestling. Nothing has been done with him. So now, all right, so the Rascals are going to come in, win a 6-man tag, and then they're going to be a Ring of Honor or something. Waste. They're not going to move a needle.
Hobbs definitely be Ring of Honor.
Hobbs could have been a top star for a long time, solidifying that company's continued growth and maybe eventual greatness. But no, not happening. So, hey, this is another Black Duke could come in, and hopefully they get it right inside of WWE. If that is what he's going here, if that looks like that is the destination.
I think he'd be awesome in WWE if they actually book him correctly. He could be potentially
anybody could. As Stevie says, anybody can get over as long as the booking's right, but it's can you stay over? That is the trick there. Jimmy T coming up, I just briefly mentioned it there. This Tuesday program alert, not ours, but for WWE over on that sexy Netflix. Unreal 2, season 2 coming at me and you. Are you excited, Jimmy T? What were your overall thoughts? You and I have never really talked about this Unreal.
Well, again, I'm glad you brought that up because I'll tell you something, man. When I started watching Unreal, I watched the first 3-4 episodes and then I just couldn't watch anymore, dude.
I'm with you.
I was just
I made it through maybe 2 of them. I was like, the only thing that's unreal is like how pathetic this is.
That's what I mean. I just couldn't do it. I was like, okay, I'll tap out, man.
I put this up there, and I know their thing was, this is going to help us grow, grab a greater audience, people to want to see how this. No, it's just like no one's going to go see that hot new whatever films are coming out, the Marvel films or something to go to there and just watch a director's cut. That's something losers do later on. You don't want that commentary doing. You want to enjoy the show here. Unreal to me is about as useful and damaging to professional wrestling as the piece of crap Dark Side of the Ring, which I also have absolutely no use for.
You know what? I will say this. I don't really watch it as much anymore either, but it's better done. I think it's more well done than, say, Unreal is because there's a little suspense to it. It's just the way they structure the show. It feels a little better. Whereas I hate to say it, but Unreal feels like it's unreal, literally. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel that.
So we did get some shots here where we see Seth and Becky on the road, and it's nice to have.
I told them to get a room. Are you kidding me, bro? Come on. How fake and fraudulent does Michael P.S. Hayes sound saying that, dude?
Yeah, terrible. We'll see how it does here again. I think it was like short-lived. You heard people talking about that last one for about 2 weeks and then crickets. So I assume we're probably going to get that again. I am interested a little bit this time that how they are going to pass off the complete just garbage can full of shit that the John Cena retirement tour was.
That's the only thing I'm intrigued about.
And they're going to try to tell us it was meant to be that way the entire time, and they hit it out of the ballpark, and this is the greatest send off that we've. Yeah, that I am a little intrigued to see how they're going to spin that bullshit in their favor when everybody knows how much garbage that was.
Literally bullshit. That's the only thing I'm intrigued about. So I will catch. I don't know if they're going to touch on it from the first episode. Yeah, bullshit. Exactly. I don't know if they'll touch on. I don't think they're touching on it. Obviously, on the first episode, I think that's going to concentrate obviously on Seth and Becky. But knowing them, will they save it till the end? Then again, every episode comes out all at once, won't it?
They did last time, I believe. They dropped them.
Right.
So we'll figure that out. But
Jimmy,
let's
touch on it a bit later.
Let's switch our gears. Let's jump into this week's episode of SmackDown. A lot to break down as we go on the attack here on the Smack Attack. As we had mentioned, they're over in jolly old England, London. They're
jolly.
at the cheerio, high tea time. They are at the Wembley Arena, packed house there. Ruckus crowd as they always all over there. They're ready for their sing-alongs and their chants and takeovers. Not a whole lot here on this show, I think, though. I mean, we had the obvious spots with some of them that they love to sing along with. Hey, I do want to ask you this, man. This is thank you for using the studio here to stream the Netflix international feed for me here in the States again. There, we got to wait till 8 o'clock on USA for it. But this was my first experience watching the international stream.
And I feel bad for you, Rick, because it's not what you think.
Yeah. So any of you guys out there that maybe aren't as hip to the international stream, maybe caught it this afternoon, let me know. But good God, there was more. I didn't think it was possible. There was more breaks in the show that we have here domestically. And and at least with our breaks here, if you're watching Netflix and you got to go through the commercials, or USA, you got commercials, they're actual commercials. There's something there to hold your, like a product to sell you, something of some interest going on. There is just a screen of talent posing and saying, we'll be right back with some cheesy ass. The only thing that I found productive and learned for this thing is I know how to say welcome back in about a dozen languages now. Yeah, welcome. We'll be right back in about 12 languages is what I got. Is there? They're all doing their little stupid ass poses on it.
How awkward in slow motion too.
Well, like they would do them like that, and then they would have some where they just cut the back and they just have the little countdown, like be back in 10. Like they were doing 10-second cuts. It's especially during the Cardona and Trick Williams match. Like it was hard to stay into that match because it kept cutting away.
Yeah, that was bizarre. Look, I'm telling you now, and it's the truth. Usually, when you see a match going on or a segment, if it cuts to commercial, you see it black out, and then it'll come straight back in, and then on the top right corner, it'll say we'll be back in 3 minutes or whatever.
Right,
that's the usual
countdown. Yeah,
right. For whatever reason, and I don't know why, but on this particular show, they were cutting away from most of the matches and segments, except for maybe 2 or 3 matches where they actually done the normal thing where you saw what was happening during the commercial break instead of, the usual thing. So I don't understand why they did that this time around. That's odd and it's new. I kid you not, usually, and you can ask, I know Chabello uses the Australian version of Netflix to watch the shows. I'm telling you now, you can ask him, there's usually not as many commercials. So I don't know why they did that. And even though they're not real commercials, like you said, at least you learn how to say we'll be back in about 5 different languages.
We'll be right back. So we open up the show here. I see I'm going to make some sense of my notes here. I usually try to organize them by block of what we're talking about here. But again, our big draws for this week's SmackDown. We've got the 4 qualifying matches who's going to go on to that fatal 4-way to crown a number 1 contender at the Royal Rumble. Oh yeah, that event's coming up in 3 weeks. They're not really, what event? Yeah, you remember that? It's like one of their big ones each year.
Yeah.
They have like I thought it was canceled. Massive men, meat coming into the ring and throwing they're hardly making mention. We did get a few, but we're trying to get a challenger for champion Drew McIntyre. We got those 4 big matches, and what do you know, though? We're going to kick this thing off. The first British-born champion. We're talking about black champions. How about British-born champions? Drew McIntyre opens the show. The crowd loves it, Jimmy. They're all about it.
Drew McIntyre. The way they were chanting. Yeah, they loved him, dude. Absolutely loved him. And it was cool to see. He drained his entrance, so he took forever.
Well, yeah,
to get to the ring.
He comes down, he's soaking it in. We go about almost 20 minutes on this thing, and it is, Drew putting it over. This was my dream. I set out to do what I was going to do. I took down Cody Rhodes, but then it's that flip that switch. But but you guys, you act like you love me now, but where were you?
I like that. That's cool.
I wish they just would have got to it a little sooner.
He was teasing him. You know what I mean? I get it.
And I know what they want. They want that pop. They want the sing-alongs. They want to set that tone,
and
get that footage in there.
Did you notice he was talking like a babyface too at first? Very much like a babyface,
You kind of suck them in there. And also inside of that, you get with the love and admiration towards Drew, you can feel a little disdain and heat towards Cody.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling bad for Cody because I'm telling you, the more people starting to boo him now, it's going to spread back to the US.
Yeah,
and then Cody's going to have a problem.
You've got the British champ here versus the American. So there is a divide. So I wonder if they intentionally, because we don't get Cody and Drew kind of face to face during this show. They have two completely different set. Well, I wonder if they kind of recognize that and they are keeping them apart because they didn't want to overwhelmingly show support towards Drew with Cody in that ring.
Absolutely, 100%. That's probably what the thought process was. I mean, it makes sense, right? You'd want to keep him away for that purpose, but did it really work? Because even when he came out alone, and I'll ask you this.
Well, I'm going to block them all together.
Right, we'll get to that.
So we could talk about it here because you do have Drew's out there. I do like how they counter this thing because it's almost an equal pop because everyone just pops for Randy. Orton comes out and it gets a big response. We kind of know where that's going. He's in his gear, setting up our first match. We're going to hold that one, but we get the werewolf. Jacob Fatu on the attack. He is going after Drew McIntyre here. Not the last time that we're going to see Fatu or hear mention of him, because as you did mention, though, we get those two tangling here in the open. Cody comes out later in the show, and he's, what do you want to talk about? He's not really himself, but you're still not feeling it from the crowd, even though they're trying to separate him here.
Right.
It is.
It was very half and half, dude. Like
they kind of prefer Drew, and I think that the crowd's kind of leaning towards favoring Fatu here. And as you said, I wonder how that's going to translate when they eventually get back to the States. They're not back here for a while. We still got to go through Canada and that as well, and then back over.
I noticed that. Right. Well, look, and it worries me, dude, because I truly think the US is going to start booing him too, dude. And I think it's just that time. And and that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think he pivoted? He actually went off the cuff a little bit by the reaction because he changed his tone completely once they started booing.
Well, he was getting a little more serious, and I think he was a little more focused instead of playing to the crowd. Be on target on what your objective is,
and he's being honest.
We get two big points here from Cody. He is that weird match event that got coming up. He's going to be the first entrant in the men's Royal Rumble. He does announce that.
HBK all over again.
We also have, we did learn because him and Fatu do hook it up. So Cody's out early in the suit and tie doing this thing. Fatu comes out later, calls him out. Cody, did he run back to the bus and just put on the jumpsuit?
What was up with that?
Because he answered that real quick and he had his change of clothes set to go. They go out, start rumbling. Security's out there. So all this makes it official that we're going to get Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu coming up in 2 weeks. Montreal, Saturday night's main event.
Looking forward to that, man. I think that Saturday night's main event is beginning to look pretty stacked.
So
pretty intriguing.
We've got Cody and Fatu on that, and we're going to have our four-way. We're going to talk about those qualifiers here, who won those in a moment. One of the big points, though, from this main event picture that we saw here, Drew in his opening statement, his addressing the audience, in the stadium around the world, said something interesting that he had all this put into. I'm going to look at the microphone. All this into the contract that Cody would not get an automatic rematch. So he had to go all the way to the end of the line and work his way up. This makes Cody look like an idiot. And even, he said, hey, I might have got ahead of myself. I guess this is the way it's going to be. That's when he announced he's entering the Rumble. So Cody looks stupid. Where would Drew get that power? And does it also make Nick Aldis look like a dick for not telling Cody this? Like, why didn't they just tell this was a stipulation beforehand?
Right. I have no idea. And did it really bother Cody that much? I mean, when you think about it.
I mean, Drew had all the power in this. He could have put that in anyway. But like, all right, so but he acts like he slid it in there. Like, I got one by you, Cody. Well, why wouldn't Aldis just tell Cody that?
I can't answer that question. I've got no clue because as the authority figure,
Right, it's supposed
you're
to be
meant
like
to
a
tell
fair
him.
down, and you already got the card stacked against your QB1
Right.
champ here. So now you're just letting this. I mean, it's the small things, the details that make no sense with it.
But if you notice, though, a lot of the guys that were champions and lost their championships actually don't end up getting a second shot.
Because they and then they don't mention it.
Right. They just pretend it never happened.
It happened last time with Cody. He didn't get an automatic match with John Cena, a rematch. When Jey Uso lost, he didn't get an automatic rematch with Gunther. Remember, they both got entered into the King of the Ring, and it was ended up that Cody won it and won another opportunity. So, I mean, why put this wrinkle in here now that just makes Cody look stupid and makes Aldis look like a dick?
Well, like Kenny says in the chat, he says Swerve Aldis did do it to screw Cody because of what Cody had to say to him a couple of weeks ago. Is that a possibility, or are we just thinking way too far ahead here?
I don't know. Refresh my memory here. I don't remember what he said to him.
No, they were just kind of arguing. It wasn't like I can't even remember exactly what he said too, but I remember there was a bit of back and forth between them. I think it was a bit more than a couple of weeks ago, to be honest. But
I know there was some, because Aldis was a little bad at him because he went to the house. He was trying to get all these things settled, and Cody took things into his own. Cody thought he was above the general manager because he said, Cody said, "You work for me, I work for the people." That's what he told Aldis. All right, Jimmy, let's talk about, we have these 4 qualifiers here. I thought there was some intrigue. I don't know if you were as high on these with some interest as I was. But we do have 4 of them, and then one of them was our first match of the evening here. We mentioned Orton came out in the opener. I kind of like this thing was short, sweet. You have Orton there in the ring as we're getting ready, and here comes the Miz. He finally gets that sneak attack in that he's been trying to get the last couple of weeks. He's able to hit that skull-crushing finale, and he immediately is on the referees. Start the match, start the match, start the match. He's looking for that upper hand. Miz knows this is his chance. This is how he's going to take down the Viper. The refs obviously, asking, can you continue? Randy's finally like, give me the bell. Short and sweet. This thing doesn't go that long. 5 minutes or so, 5 to 7.
Yeah.
Miz getting some shots in. Randy gathers himself, goes over like we all thought he would.
It's funny because the Miz part was literally like the Randy Orton, like the exact same way Randy Orton sort of comes in and attacks people, and even the camera shot. So I find it kind of, I got a little giddy that Miz actually got his revenge on Orton.
He got a little bit in there, but then in the end, I think we all saw it was Randy regroups and puts down the Miz. So we got Randy as the first spot in the Fatal 4-Way. Our next one here, this one had me intrigued because obviously we've got Trick, all the spotlight, all the star power behind him, and Rocket strapped to his back right now.
Same
versus the returning Matt Cardona, who a lot of people ask, hey, what is going to be the direction for him? Are they going to believe in him right now? I thought this was add some intrigue. I like this match as much as I could get into it without all these damn international breaks. This is the one that annoyed me the most because they were just cutting to black for like 10 seconds at a time during this thing.
I don't know why.
Like the back and forth here. I thought they both looked good. They looked like 2 superstars. If you were flipping through and you want to see a professional wrestling match, these guys looked the part here. Yeah, the couple spots there I liked were, I guess, can we call it the woo-woo train? The knee that Trick saw coming. He gets the hell out of there, but he's a little too cocky, and Cardona can come sliding through with the one-legged drop kick there to the outside. I thought they worked pretty well back and forth with each other. In the end, right call. Rick Williams goes over. He gets that second spot.
Absolutely right call. We'll get to the other matches soon, but I was going to say something about the finish, who ended up qualifying, but I'll wait. But Trick, so far so good what they're doing with him. Let's be honest. I mean, hopefully they stick with him and let him do his thing because he's ready to take that main event spot with both hands, man.
Well, we'll see. There's some more intrigue there. So Trick gets his spot. We also have maybe the one with the least fan appeal. I mean, you kind of got one of the other guys heavily involved elsewhere. I had a great conversation this morning with Pierce Austin about this.
No.
We have Damian Priest, Solo Sikoa. Pierce had asked me, he's like, what, like, he asked me if he was the only one that just found Damian Priest just beyond boring right now. And I said, I think it's across the board, simply because who is he? What define him? What is the character? What is the connection? And here he's taking on Solo, great mid-card act, leader of his own troop there, his own faction in My Family Tree. But even there, those guys are preoccupied with the Wyatt Six, instead of this match here.
Which made it obvious with the finish.
Right. So going into this one, even Damian Priest is like, he's like, I won the Money in the Bank here in London, and that match was like 1 versus all. And I know here tonight it's going to be 1 versus all. I'm going to take him down. And it kind of is, the story they tell inside of the match. But the match itself and the qualifying becomes second fiddle when the Wyatt Six gets involved. We've got they did throw out Tala, so he's out of there to get the numbers game back. Hey, what's up with Eric the Red? Is he out right now? Because he was missing from the Wyatt Six. Is the Wyatt Six come out?
Maybe he couldn't get into England, dude.
Oh, I don't think he's got any kind of.
It could have been visa issues. You never know. They're pretty strict to the UK to get in, but we don't know. They didn't even, they didn't even say anything about it either. He was there last week, and suddenly he's not. So
yeah, they didn't make any mention of it. So he was just not there as we get the numbers game. So we do see it is Priest is overcoming the distractions and all that. The Wyatts do come out here. That provides a distraction in favor of Priest to pick up the win over Solo. Priest moves on. We do know that we are getting, is it next week, correct, that we're going to get the tag team belts on the line, the lantern on the line versus the tag belts between the Wyatt Six.
So stupid, bro.
You know what? I'm okay with that because it is it is a symbol of Bray Wyatt. It is a symbol of the Fireflies in all that. So, I mean, it does have a deeper meaning to them.
I get it, but I just feel like they're not really, I'm not saying they're not respecting you because they're trying, but I just feel like they just don't know what to do with it. They're not as creative as Bray was. I'm sorry, but that's how I truly feel.
Again, I thought it was going to be short term. I think it's just overlived its use. It's jumped the shark.
Oof,
over. At this point, let's have a great final ride with it, maybe to WrestleMania if you want, then put it to rest. And let's always, remember the great legacy there, Bray Wyatt with it. They've done a great job, then spin off the talent, whichever way. That leaves us with our final spot. That was our main event here for the evening. Dragunov versus Sami Zayn. We've seen this one before. I think pretty much everyone would know what to expect here. These guys just going out there full speed, getting after it here in the main event. Jimmy, I'm going to have to refer to you on this one, man. I missed the finish of you can lay this out for us.
Well, you know what? The finish was pretty much just a normal pin, man. Like Dragunov was pretty bloody.
Okay.
He ended up doing his. I'm pretty sure I saw him do his finisher. What do you call it, man? What's his Zayn's? Not the kick, the other one. The fucking the power bomb, and then the 1, 2, 3, man, and that's pretty much it. Like it was nothing special, but it was a real 50-50 match, though. I mean, it looked like Dragunov, could have gotten the win. We both knew that Dragunov wasn't going to get the win.
You know what? Thinking about this match had me a bit intrigued. I'm going to say, man, I was, 75% sure Sammy wins this thing, but that 25 I kept playing in my head that could have made some sense this go around for Dragunov to win this thing. And if he was going to qualify, I would have had him go challenge at the Rumble. It's because the Rumble sells itself. You're going to have the other championship match on that thing. It's a stacked card. So why not? Because I think him and Drew could go out there and have a pretty fun, just knock him down, beat him up wrestling match.
Oh no, it would be a fun, beating down type of match.
And you don't need that match to carry the show or anything like that.
But can you imagine the size
early on, it's Drew going to go over who that is. I was thinking in my head maybe some logic about how that would make sense for him.
Yeah, I mean, and sorry, he did win by a haluva kick too, by the way, as well.
So
then
just a little.
He did a boost on the bomb, then haluva kick, and then the 1, 2, 3.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. We don't have to hesitate or sit on that all day. All right, but so now we do have the 4. We know who is there. We've got Sami Zayn, Damian Priest, Trick Williams, Randy Orton. Let's look at the dynamic and talk about maybe who benefits. Where are we going to go here? I think the one that jumps out immediately is the Sami Zayn story.
That's what it's going to be. He's going to win this 4-way. I hate to say it.
Well,
He's gonna win
4-way is as he said he was going to win this week. Then he's going to Saturday night's main event, which is where Montreal.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he wins there, and then goes to Riyadh.
No, he's not winning.
Challenge. I'm not saying winning, but he's going to have a huge fan advantage.
They're gonna be like, Habibi, yalla.
Yes.
Yalla, Sami.
So is there a chance though maybe he doesn't win in Montreal and they give him the Rumble in Riyadh?
What's better booking, you think, for him? Do you think it'll be more?
I do not want to see Sami Zayn win a Royal Rumble. I don't have any other options to give you on that. I just don't want it to be Sami Zayn. They haven't really talked about the Rumble, so I haven't thought about it that much.
That's why I was going to say to you, because this Rumble, let's just say this Rumble is going to be one of the most not spoken after.
They're still building the stadium for the Rumble.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that online. It's going to be a temporary stadium, right, or some shit.
Yeah, so so they can pack them in there. So Sammy's probably the favorite to win this Fatal 4. The inside of this other one, Damian Priest, I think he's there to take the pin inside of the Fatal 4-way. So that's kind of his role where he fits in. Randy Orton, obviously the star power. So that's going to sell anywhere, everywhere. Orton could win this thing and go over and be a great first challenger. I mean, he doesn't need to get a win over Drew, and he's going to get a big pop over there with that Saudi audience.
Oh, God. Do you remember that picture that one of them drew of Randy Orton in Saudi Arabia years ago? It was a meme, dude. It was pretty funny. It didn't even look like Orton, but if I find it, I'll show you one day. It's pretty funny. But anyway.
It's intriguing. So we essentially got 3 babies in this thing. Rick Williams is the only heel, and he's the young, brash, arrogant dick that's in this thing. Right. And as we saw, as they do close the show, who's out there attacking Sami Zayn?
It was good old Trick Willie. So, absolutely. But Zayn says Randy got to earn his keep.
Yep. Young upstart Randy Orton.
Orton's on cruise control right now. I don't think nothing hurts Orton at the moment, whatever they do with him. I think
Orton's there to help it. He's just the star power for this thing.
Exactly. He's Teflon right now, man.
I think Sammy's your favorite to win this thing.
He will.
Orton. Priest is going to eat that pin, whoever it is. Trick's going to get an amazing showing. All the heat in this match is going to go on Trick. He's the only heel in here.
Yep.
But he's not. You don't want to move him into a position like that, challenging this early. And
no, because you're gonna fuck him up like that, man. And it's a possibility of the crowd just being like the crowd can easily turn on you by getting.
And you're going to you're going to want a major baby there taking on Drew as that first challenger to keep that heat on him.
Right, and you're not gonna have exactly two heels, but they will cross paths though. Like they are teasing it at the end of the day, so we'll see.
We're teasing all the possibilities here, but I think that's what we're gonna get from those guys. So we got those in. Let's talk about some other surprises here. Let's go over here. One of the things that we've been kind of sour on. They go out there, they put on some great shows. Just don't like because it's been involving the tag division so much. But we have a U.S. Open challenge. Carmelo Hayes is out here again. I am going to say, stop putting this thing in the third hour. Especially when you're going to come out with an all wrestling, like a go main event, like Sammy and Dragunov. I mean, this is just watered down of anything that they're going to do in this U.S. Open Challenge. This needs to be early in the show, establishing that just like the cruiserweight division was back at WCW back in the day. It got things going hot with that. This should have been, again, one of the first matches that we got out. These open challenges need to be hour one. Carmelo Hayes is out. I will say might be the first time that was maybe a pop for an actual surprise, and we get a home crowd pop. Lo and behold, it's Leon Slater from Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, their X-Division champ. Jimmy, you pointed this out to me. I saw it right away, but you were typing it quicker than I could be thinking it. Didn't his home company, his home promotion, just have a big show last night where Mr. Slater was out?
And that's why I was asking you that, right? And I'm like, but wait a minute, didn't TNA just have their show yesterday and blah, blah, blah? And I asked you if he was on it, knowing really deep down he probably wouldn't have been. But
well, he was. All right, so he was scheduled to be on it. He was advertised to be on the TNA Wrestling debut on AMC, the channel. But he was going to take on one of the Rascals. But your boy Tony Khan signed those Rascals up, so they had to scratch that match, and they didn't sub anybody in for it. Now, I don't know. I haven't looked at the sheets on this one. I don't know if he was actually, Slater was there for the Total Nonstop Action taping. We did some of the math. They were in Dallas, Texas. It's a 9-hour flight from Dallas to London. It's doable.
Yeah, it's doable. It's not bad. That's pretty good, really.
Doable. But yeah, Slater comes out here. Again, I think these matches, it doesn't help that you have these longer matches here into that third hour when we've got all this character development, all this storytelling going on. Move these earlier to let people get a little more invested in them. Good match out of these two. They even did a little storytelling inside the match, working Carmelo's knee. If you're going to hold up, it was that letting out. Kept going back, working at a lot of high spots, a ton of athleticism out of these two. There were even a couple near falls where I thought maybe they were going to pull that trigger to get that big pop for the kid in his hometown.
Yeah, I know. No shit. Even I thought that for a moment too, but they weren't going to do it though. But he looked good, man. I'll give him that.
They had that kick out right down to it, and that's what you want. It's just that disbelief just for that moment. Could they do this? I enjoyed these two with this thing. Then ultimately Carmelo hitting a hell of a Carmelo cutter to get the big win there over Slater.
Well, yeah, and obviously WWE, like the rumors like we've been hearing, they're very high on Leon Slater, and they do want to sign him. And if any of the TNA talents that's been on TV a lot in WWE, it's pretty much him. Like he's the guy for WWE right now that's not actually signed with WWE.
I guess for a big week for Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, it was nice that one of their performers will at least be on a show that will get a rating over 1 million.
Well, actually, has the ratings come out for TNA yet?
I haven't even seen it. I haven't seen it overnight yet, so it's going to be interesting. Hey, coming up Monday night, Smack Attack. I'm going to be joining Let's Go Brandon and the Vet to kind of break that down. Really want to see her. I got to sit with Brandon and watch it. We did the live kind of thing, waiting to hear what the Vets take on that thing. But as you were pointing out, Jimmy, before we hit play here, man, looking at around the internet, not favorable opinions there for that first outing for Total Nonstop Action.
I was shocked. Like originally, I was meant to be on the watch along too with Whooper Brandon. Shout outs again to Brando. And like I was telling you guys, I overslept, so that's why I joined late. So I didn't watch a leak of the show. And now I wanted to watch it, but I'm kind of worried to actually watch it because everywhere I look, it's just total negativity, man. Yeah, all across the board.
I haven't said anything publicly on it. I got some notes together for it. I'm going to keep my opinions until I can share them with the Vet because I want to come at it from another things and pick his brain about some of the strategies, how they went into that show or how they should have gone into it. So to get their business. So they're going to find us out. That's going to be here on the platform Monday night. About 9:15, I believe they usually get going, correct?
Yeah, 9:30 actually, as a matter of fact.
All right, so be on the lookout for that. So that is our U.S. Open Challenge, the X Division champion from Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, Leon Slater, getting a little shine there against Carmelo Hayes. Unfortunately, coming up short. I guess, Jimmy, that kind of just leads us to talk about our women's division. A few developments that we got here. It just goes back to our early conversation. Not understanding women in the real world and just bad creative and booking. We get the tag match itself here even starts before the match backstage with Bliss, questioning like, were you sick?
Yeah, I know. What's up with that?
I mean, it's like, do you actually think that's how women think and all this? And then even in the match, we end up with the match. It's Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. And oh my God, they actually dubbed this. Joe actually put the Charlexa. That was what they were calling them. Even Graves was like, "Don't say that again."
That's disgusting. Do not say that again.
Charlexa. Yeah. I know I had it here on my notes.
What the hell is a Charlexa? Sounds like a car, bro.
I don't know, some kind of weird Pokemon merger between Charlotte and Alexa. But anyway, they're taking on Sven Julia and Person Boot. Sven Julia.
Person Boot didn't look too bad in this match, actually, dude.
Here's my problem in this. Here is my major problem in this match. Got quite a few of them here. Why is Person Boots getting the spotlight for the wrestling portion of her team? That's Julia's whole gig. She's the
That's why I said
badass
she looked
wrestler.
good, bro. She looked good in this match. She got her shit in, man.
It should have been Julia getting the shit in on the babies, and then like whenever the babies start getting to come up, that's when you bring in Person Boots and start beating her up. Julia again has to play second, so she's the champ. That whole situation's playing second fiddle to women's tag team division, and now she's second fiddle even in her own team as the champ. So now she's like a fifth wheeler.
And you know what's worse? I think it was you that asked me a couple of weeks ago if the UK fan base were actually, cheer her or not. And dude, this was the quietest moment of the whole show.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, poor Corey Graves, God bless him, did a great job trying to put over to the home audience like why we should care about Julia and Person Boots.
They're trying, but again, the booking of Julia, unfortunately for her, is not. They're doing it wrong, dude. But then again, what do you do with it? I mean, is she what can she do to relate to the fan base? It's not working in the US. Clearly, it didn't work in the UK either. Which I thought maybe I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
I don't look at whatever the trademark is. Maybe that's just not working. Maybe she's not that good.
Yeah, look, I saw some of her stuff in I remember Jago was the one that put me onto Julia years ago.
You saw some of her stuff in what apartment 17B from the Michibuchi Towers?
Well, yeah, you could say that. But the thing is, she looked great in that promotion, but it's not like she was really it's not really story as in character driven that much.
It is not connecting. And we can blame whoever all day, but it's not connecting.
Well, I'm going to ask you this.
These are the Cricket. That's a sponsor for this. Cricket. That is a sponsor. Get your phones there. Get your cell service. Cricket. Here comes Sven Julia.
Phone. No, but for real though, man. Like, if you're creative at this point, is it creative's fault or is it Julia's fault?
I think it might be a combination of both. She's just not over. And it's not working. And even inside this match, she's doing some shit. She's yelling. So, all right. So then we get Person Boots eats the pin, right?
Yes.
Bliss gets her after a sister Abigail. Here comes the bully gals, our big girls, Nia Jax, Lash Legend. They come in to beat everybody up. They beat up the babies, send them flying out here. But now we've got Sven Julia. She wants a piece. Why you getting him on my biz? Why you getting him my biz? But Person Boots is there to Kiana James pulls her back, says, we don't want to mess with this. We'll just let you guys go. We're sorry, but Julia keeps wanting to get doing it. So they keep calling her back. So now we got a little tease there. So are we just going to move these two into the tag division while she's got this belt?
I have no fucking idea, man.
They're going to have her do more things that people won't care about. Yeah, Johnny Powers right there, man. Looks like that reject vampire. Buffy. To me, she looks like a background character in a high school production of Peter Pan.
God. Zancy's almost made a joke about Nia and Lash in London. Hello, Frank. Welcome to the chat, by the way. Welcome to our show. Thanks for joining.
We got that with our women's tag division. Let's focus. Let's change our focus here to our women's grand championship on this show. We got Jordan Grace making her official it was last week. She had her official debut, but now this week she's back again to take on Chelsea Green. And we got the champ, Jade Cargill, sitting at ringside. Jimmy, this match is a great entrance here. Chelsea looking great. Pledge your allegiance to her. During that entrance, though, and especially being overseas there, it does remind me how much I miss Piper Niven. Yeah,
how long is she going to be out for?
I don't know, man. I got to be a great comeback. Hopefully she rejoins the crew and they don't try to do, you didn't call me. You guys aren't my best friends.
You didn't call me.
Yeah. So really miss her contributions to that group there. Hey, the match itself, I'm not kidding you, man. I looked away for it feels like no more than 2 minutes to put some laundry away, and the match was over.
Yeah, it was quick. You're right. I was talking to you during that match, and it felt.
I wasn't talking to anybody because I literally got up, walked 10 feet over there to put some laundry away, came back over, and the match was over. You know what? Chelsea doesn't need wins. I get it. She's over. I just want more of her because she is an entertaining part of this show. Jordan gets the win. She calls out Jade, says, hey, I need you to respect me. I need you to know who I am because I'm coming for you. Jade comes up looking great. Them booty shorts.
Oh, absolutely.
She's on the apron there. She's on the apron. I do like this. Chelsea goes to hit Jordan Grace in the back. Jordan sees it coming, moves out of the way, and Chelsea slams right into Jade. So there's going to be a little hell to pay for that one. So looks like we are at some point we are going to probably get a little tango between Chelsea and Miss Cargill. Jade, please don't hurt Chelsea. She is not just a national treasure, a global treasure. We do not need her on the show.
Well, to be honest, I mean, you'd think it's going to be a squash match between them two, right?
Yes. Or I would say Chelsea trying to run away from her at all points, just trying to avoid that comeuppance, getting hers for accidentally.
For sure. I could see an upset though too out of the blue though, and even to the point where Chelsea Green will even be like, "Oh my god, did I really win?" You know what I mean?
Well, and again, when Chelsea lost the United States champion a couple weeks ago, I mean, it almost looked like they were switching her baby face, because she had that win. It was a distraction for Purse of Boots. The ref didn't see it. So I don't know. It's just almost like they don't have a direction. They don't know what to do with her, but they know she's money. They know she's over, so they keep running her out there.
Because she gets fed chicken shit and turns into chicken salad, no matter what it is, man. She just knows and gets it. But speaking of, did you notice with Jordan Grace, was it just me? Or did it seem like crickets also for her?
Again, I mean, what was it? I mean, they introduce her to this larger audience by hanging out in the back with Nick Aldis. No cool promo packages, anything like that. Nothing exciting with an introduction. Just, hey, I'm just here visiting the campus to check it out. And then she signs and that's it. Nothing exciting. Nothing exciting. She looks like $1 million. I mean, nothing that's putting her on a pedestal with that incredible physique, showing the training regimen. Wow. I mean, we go back. We talked about this last week. They did a much better job, Pat McAfee, putting her over at her Rumble debut. Where I don't know who this is, but damn, TNA has got something. This is a spectacle. Look at her. What a specimen. None of that. She was just hanging out in the back. Speaking of promos, also on the show, we did get a continued promo package from Obafemi teasing us, he's coming. We don't know where. We don't know when.
Yeah, what they're already dropping the ball, Rick, in a way. How do you keep him away when he was red hot?
It's one of these ass backwards things. You introduce us to him. We get to see him wrestle. We want to see him dominate some people. And now you're giving us the promo packs. You should do it the other way.
It's AEW booking backwards, bro.
It's the wrong way. You give the promo, the vignettes, then the action.
Dude, backwards.
Yeah. Overall, Jimmy, so that pretty much wraps up everything coming from SmackDown. So the fallout here, what we got from it, we've got our 4 contenders. It's going to be Randy Orton versus Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn versus Damian Priest 2 weeks from now. Montreal, Saturday night's main event. The winner will go on to Riyadh to challenge Drew McIntyre for the WWE Undisputed Championship. Cody Rhodes has announced himself as the first entrant into the men's Royal Rumble match. We also know that Cody Rhodes is going to be tangling one-on-one with the Werewolf Jacob Fatu 2 weeks Montreal, Saturday night's main event. That's our big talking points, our big storylines coming out of tonight's show there, Jimmy. Overall thoughts here on the developments we saw with SmackDown?
I enjoyed the show for the most part. On the first half of the show, I actually did. I thoroughly enjoyed it. For whatever reason, especially the third hour, I was a bit tapped out at that point, dude.
It's hard, man. I regularly man, this might be an okay show if it was 2 hours. And then you're like, I got over 60 more minutes to go.
Dude, if it was a 2-hour show, we didn't get any of the final shit. This would have been a great show. I would have actually probably given it a 4 out of 5 stars if I had to.
It's just cutting some of the nonsense out and just have someone that just makes sense of things and learn how to start booking the women. I don't need to hear about friendship and rainbows and lollipops. I mean, unless they're going to start practice kissing on each other, I don't need that shit.
I agree with you 100%. Zane says, that's what we call in America broke. And to answer Kenny F and Powers' question,
I was gonna close on that. I was saving it here, but we'll switch to it to go ahead and get out of here, man. Let's talk about it. Well, I'm on the home stretch. We're done with the wrestling talk here. We're on the home stretch. Let's talk real quick about the greatest basketball game ever made, NBA Jam. Like me and you were talking about this last night, right?
In the background. I did it for you there, Rick.
Jimmy's got it in the background. We agreed. Arcade, regular, and tournament edition, the first three there, they were the absolute best. Who was your team?
I was always a Bulls guy, you know what I mean? Always use Bulls, but on the original, what's it called? NBA Jam, I would use Orlando a lot because it's Shaq.
Shaq and Petty. Shaq and Petty. See, that's why I like the tournament edition, because you had three players. You could kind of, because you had Shaq. Was Shaq and Petty?
No, Shaq wasn't on tournament edition, only on the first version, unfortunately, which was a spew.
You had Penny, Horace Grant, and was it Nick Anderson?
It was Penny? Nick Anderson, exactly, spot on.
Okay.
It was, absolutely. Yeah, I'm thinking, like, I was always Bulls, man. I just always would go Bulls. The way I play with Pippen, especially, like, it just works for me.
I would kind of move around, I'd kind of play, whoever I was playing against, whoever their teams was. Hey, I know he wasn't on it. I know Barkley wasn't on there because he had his own gaming contract, but I still like the Phoenix Suns because I love Thunder Dan. Going from downtown, baby.
Dan Marley was a beast from downtown back in the day. Absolutely. I wonder what's he doing these days. I haven't heard from him for a long time.
No, sorry. But yeah, man, NBA Jam, man, that set the standard. That is hands down. I mean, how iconic it is that, we still have the phrases from there. But, it had been struggling for you as a Bulls player and fan because the game was made to beat you, because the developer was a huge Pistons fan. And it was almost like it was built into it, like you guys would go ice cold against the Pistons.
Yeah, dude, I didn't know that until obviously more recent years. But if you chose the Bulls against the Pistons on the original NBA Jam,
would have been good on tournament edition.
I don't know if tournament edition had that same exploit. It probably does. But the first one, definitely, if you went the Bulls and you played, Detroit, you're going to lose. No matter how hard you try, it doesn't matter how good you are. There's this rubber band effect where the damn computer always beat you because the developer of the game, the main developer, was a legit Pistons fan. So hence why he did that, which is funny in a way, but it's annoying, dude, because it's really impossible. You have to change teams. Like, no matter what, you just got to. So every time I get up to Detroit, I'm going somewhere else. Usually I'll go to Sonics.
I think I used the Mavericks too quite a bit because they had the young guys, man. You had Mashburn
and Jimmy Jackson.
Yeah, they were pretty good. I like them.
They were. Jamal Mashburn, very underrated, dude, as a player.
NFL Blitz, an awesome game as well. I would say the early Blitz probably. Well, the greatest football series of all time is Tecmo.
Yeah, well, that's what most people say.
Tecmo Super. There was from the NES to the Super Nintendo ones. I know there were some later ones when they lost the players' licensing, and they got. That's even better to Madden. Tecmo was the best, and I would take early Blitz over the Madden series.
Oh, definitely, for sure. Blitz is actually a good game, dude.
Love
Blitz. Like, it's absolutely a great game, man. If you had the Dreamcast version, that was pretty much an arcade perfect version as well, compared to, say, the PlayStation and whatnot. But I see, who was it? Was it Kenny? You said you had the Genesis version? So did I, dude. But nothing beats the arcade version.
Yeah, absolutely.
Says he loves it.
All right, buddy. Let's get it out of here so we can free up the channel for Brandon can take over whenever he needs to.
Are we ski? Are we out of here?
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Yeah, me too, actually. That's true. Well, Rick, you pretty much told everyone what you're up to and what you're doing, right? There's no point of saying anything more.
I think that's a waste of airtime.
Well, yeah, tune in for Whoop Whoop Brandon coming up right now, I think at the top of the hour. Look out for that. But if you want to follow me, you can at the PWC Network. And also look out for all our shows coming up this week. As Rick said, he'll be on the Impact Attack this week. Look out for him, the Vet, and Whoop Whoop Brandon for that. And obviously, you look out for me on the I Like a Raw, and of course, Direct Gauge in a couple of days. So, in saying that, I am Jimmy T. He is R to the B to the V, and you've been listening and watching a Fun Friday episode of the Smack Attack live right here on Hamin Media Group's YouTube channel. And until next time, we're out. Peace.